Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Bridezilla. We've got 2 short posts for you and a post-saga. So let's get started with the first one. This one is from unique username 93. So a few years ago, my aunt died, leaving behind 3 girls, 5 to 7, and her ex-husband. About 8 months later, my uncle was engaged to a woman that everyone thought was perfect. She was pretty good with my cousins, she was nice to my family, she was good for my uncle it seemed. Well, when they started planning the wedding, evil stepmother said that the wedding could only be on one date, the 1-year anniversary of my aunt's death. This devastated the girls of course, and I'm sure it bothered my uncle too. But it had to be on this day because it was the only day evil stepmother's mom could get off work to come to the wedding. Yes, a random Tuesday was the only day that this wedding could happen. Right. Everyone in the family tried to discourage it for the sake of the kids until evil stepmother turned Bridezilla and threatened to uninvite my uncle's side of the family entirely. She dug her heels in and insisted that the wedding would be all white, including her dress, even though she was married twice and had 2 kids from the previous marriages. Nothing wrong with that, but she shamed my mom for having been divorced once. Evil stepmother cheated in her marriages, my mom escaped an abusive situation, huge difference. She had to get married in the St. Louis Cathedral, a pretty big and famous church in New Orleans. It's a big deal to get married there. Evil stepmother blew the budget big time, according to my mom. Okay, moving on. So since we were all still grieving, especially the girls, we weren't all too excited for the wedding, the parties, the shower, etc. And evil stepmother took this very personally. I wouldn't blame her if half the family wasn't happy about the marriage, but what she did was unforgivable. She uninvited my uncle's daughters from the wedding. 5, 6, and 7-year-old grieving little girls were left at home with a babysitter while their father married the biggest mistake on the planet. This was not a child-free wedding by any means. Her kids were there. My brother and I were there. There were plenty of kids. To this day, even now that the oldest is 17, they all hate each other. The girls hate evil stepmother and she hates them for not calling her mom. And that's all we've got. On this one, my opinion is that the dad is an idiot. First of all, by not saying anything about the date this evil stepmother chose. And second, by allowing her to uninvite his kids. And he didn't do anything. What do you guys think? Is he just an idiot? Alright, and now let's move on to a 3-post saga. We'll call this one The Dress Code. These are 3 posts written by the same Bridezilla. I'm not going to use my Bridezilla voice to read all the 3 posts because it would be incredibly annoying, so I'll just use my regular voice and hopefully it won't be as annoying. So here we go. Hey everyone! Who's ready for Hawaii 2019? In anticipation of the wedding, and believe me, I know it's a long way away, but I would still like to announce the dress code. I am giving you a long notice of 1.5 years so that you will have time to find and pick out something nice. The dress code is very specific because it will be used to create an incredible visual effect. If done right, it will make our synchronized dancing along the purple beach really pop. So, without further ado, women between 100 and 160 pounds, green velvet sweater, orange suede pants, Louboutin heels, the famous red-heeled shoes. When we spin and lift our feet, the effect will amaze you. Burberry scarf. Men 100 to 200 pounds, purple fuzzy jacket, soda hat, all white trainers, plain glow sticks. Women 160 pounds plus, all black sweater and pants, any material, black heels. Men 200 pounds plus, all camouflage, black sneakers. Children, red from head to toe. Remember, the kids will form the shape of a heart. It needs to be true red, not blood orange or some BS. Additionally, we will require that you wear formal attire after the dancing has ended. Please bring a change of clothing. Remember, the venue is extremely upscale and we want to be looking our absolute best, ladies and gents. Please, if you look like trash, so will we. All jokes aside, we want you to invest in an outfit valued at least $1,000. This includes jewelry, accessories, makeup, and hair. Remember, ladies and gents, this wedding is 24K themed for a reason. You have a year and a half to get working. No excuses. Mwah! Wow, this bride is awesome. She is such a prize and so thoughtful of giving people a year and a half to spend $1,000 additional on a destination wedding. But like I said, this is a saga, so let's move on to part 2. Hello invitees! Very important update, please read. It has come to my attention that someone went all the way down in this group's creation to screenshot the dress code requirements. The screenshot was taken wildly out of context and has gone semi-viral on Facebook and Reddit. I have seen my post twice on my regular Facebook account. I could not be more crushed, betrayed, or saddened. I trust each and every one of you so intimately. Knowing someone went behind my back and made fun of me is one of the worst feelings everywhere, and boy will you be paying. Therefore, I am announcing one of the most unique parties you will ever be invited to in your life, besides my actual wedding. In honor of the snitch who sold me out, I will be hosting the first ever polygraph party at my house this Saturday at 8 p.m. Bring your inner Sherlock Holmes because we will be hunting out the snitch who put me on blast. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. We just bought a real polygraph test for $99 on Amazon. After the testing is over and we find the rat who did this, we will all celebrate with drinks and appetizers. If you can't make it to the polygraph party, you will be presumed guilty unless you can provide a valid excuse. We can make this party a unique and good one that will be told for years to come. I promise, as long as you're innocent, you have nothing to worry about. I highly suggest whoever did this just tell me. I won't retaliate, I will simply cut all ties and communication with you and talk crap about you for a long, long time. If you have any information about who violated my trust and my wedding planning, I will give you $100. Next, if any of you are unhappy with the dress code requirements, it's okay. You can come talk to me. Instead of participating in the dance, you can help the crew clean up after dinner, volunteer to take videos of our dance, or even contribute to the honeymoon. Anything counts. Finally, I am outraged at the comments these internet trolls have made about the dress code. Do you effing know me? Do you know why we are doing things this way? No? Then shut up. Go back down to your scum basement and play video games and never effing make comments about people you don't know. My husband and I are certified spiritual healers with over 10 years of experience. You all know this. Our wedding colors, fabrics, and intimate synchronized dance are something we hold very dear to our hearts. The expensive clothing represents the riches we wish to come. The black and camouflage outfits represent the aura of the devil that we must shoo away. The soda hats represent our wishes for an abundance of life-saving liquid. You get the picture. We met at a psychic's desensitization chamber over 12 years ago in Italy, as you all know. Why not bring our traditions and beliefs into our wedding? Would you show up at an Indian person's wedding and make fun of their culture and their tradition? If not, don't judge ours. Anyway, I am so tired having to explain myself over and over. Please keep me updated. Oh wow, there are so many things I want to say about this crazy B or C. But I gotta keep this short because we need to move to part 3. Polygraph party results. Many of y'all have been asking how Saturday's polygraph party went. It was fantastic. Attendance was 100%. The $99 polygraph machine from Amazon was a bit crappy, but it did the job. I asked y'all a simple question such as, did you leak my dress code to the internet and do you secretly hate me? Friends, it is with only the deepest joy that I can announce the identification of the snitch. My former friend, Stephanie, was immediately removed from my property. She confessed to leaking my posts and ridiculing me online. My original dress code has gone viral because of her, and the outside world will never effing understand thanks to Stephanie. Good riddance. Now the Hawaii 2019 wedding can go on. Thank you to my best friends Lynn, Jackie, Christy, and Jax. You were very helpful in allowing me to set up my polygraph text and eliminate the snitch, Stephanie. Dress code update. Please buy your soda hats as soon as possible. We will be hosting another event in a few weeks in which we will be modifying them. If you would prefer a helicopter hat, by all means, go buy one. Time is of the essence. Ladies, let me be clear. Your secondary outfit must total at least $1,000. We are 24K themed after all. Please submit photos of your synchronized dancing outfits no later than 1 month. I will be telling each and every one of you what is wrong and how to improve it. And that's it, and I would say more than enough to kind of understand that standing next to this person has to be exhausting. But at least we all know that she's not wrong. It's the rest of the world who's wrong and doesn't understand her vision. She is by no means a crazy person. Requesting that people must at least spend $1,000 on their outfit is absolutely reasonable. And also, making your overweight family and friends wear the colors of the devil you need to shoo, yeah, that's totally cool too. I could go on, but it's time to move on to the next post. So why don't you write in the comment section what you think about this bride. Alright, and now let's move on to the last post. And this one is from Pepsi Max is my crack. Disclaimer, this is not about a Bridezilla, this is about a Guestzilla. It was my sister's wedding and everything was going swimmingly until we got to the reception. I was maid of honor and standing with my sister, new brother-in-law, his brother and the bride and groom's parents in a greeting line. Not sure if this is a tradition all over, but basically the families in wedding parties stand in a line next to the door to the reception, greeting each guest individually as they arrive, thank them for coming, and direct them to their seating for the wedding meal. It's all very nice, and I got to meet the groom's family. I don't know them apart from the groom as I live in another city. All is going fine until we heard a bit of a commotion from inside the reception room. Next thing we know, one of the groom's cousins, bitchy cousin, comes storming up with her husband to the bride, pushing people being greeted to one side. You need to sort my table. I wanted to sit with XXX, but I'm sitting at the next table. Sort it! Needless to say, sister is a bit taken aback. She had put them on the next table as XXX is sitting at the table with her family and it's full. XXX is also one of the groom's relatives. She purposely sat them so they would be sitting next to XXX even though they were not at the same table. She explained the situation and told her the other people at the table they were sat at were friends and were very nice people. Plus, it was literally only for the meal as they were rearranging afterwards so people could sit wherever they wanted for the evening. I'd gone to XXX's table and asked if anyone was willing to swap, but as they were all immediate family, they said they would rather not. I realized as I typed this that they may have known BC was a bitch and didn't want crazy at their table. I went back and told her and my sister there was no room at XXX's table. I thought at that point BC realized she may have been being unreasonable and she mumbled something and pottered back to the table. We laughed it off and carried on greeting people. All of a sudden, we heard someone screaming something unintelligible. We found out later that the other guests at the table who had heard the comments from BC had started to try and chat with them, thinking they may have just been shy about sitting with people they didn't know well. They were actively ignored by BC and her husband. One of the groom's friend had offered to pour them some water and moved her glass closer to the jug so he could pour it. BC had started screaming about how he had dared to touch and move her glass. Next thing we know, BC has stormed back up to the greeting line with a face like thunder. She started screaming at my sister that she couldn't possibly sit at a table with such rude people and the bride needed to sort it now. My sister has never been one to hold back, and at this point, she had had enough. She casually leaned back against the doorframe she was standing in and said, "As I see it, you have two choices. You can either sit at the table with our friends like adults, eat the meal we have paid for, and sit wherever you want afterwards, or F off." BC went purple and stormed out of the venue, followed by her husband. My mom told my sister off for swearing at her guests, while the rest of us, including the groom, my dad, and the guests we were greeting at the time, all cried with laughter. The other guests at the table came up later to tell us the story and buy the bride and groom a drink as a thank you for the 2 extra desserts they had split between them. Wow, some people just choose to live in their own little planet, don't they? You're a guest at a wedding. You don't get to choose where you're gonna sit. And I just gotta say, that husband multiplies himself by 0 with that wife. I totally agree with how the bride treated that entitled guest. Doesn't matter whose cousin it is. That you don't do that. You either sit where we tell you to, enjoy the meal we're paying for, or you can go home or go to the movies, whatever. We don't need you here. That bride has a spine.